So let's have a look at some more movements of the joints. So now we've had a look at a lot of flexion and extension, where we are extending the lines of the joint and when we are shortening the lines of the joint, primarily through this parallel sagittal plane. So now let's have a look at inwards and outwards, when the body rotates, opens up. So we're going to start with the shoulders. So here, when the shoulders roll forwards, they are pronating, they're turning in. Yeah, which is very often due to the way we work. If we're on a chair, like hairdressing, at the computer, when we retract, we draw the shoulder blades together, and this opens my chest, my heart space, my collarbones are open, and my shoulder blades are drawing together. I always use the imagery of, imagine you're holding a pencil. There's a pencil behind your shoulder blades, and you're squeezing that pencil together. So pronation, we have retraction, nice and open. And with the elbows, so we have flexing of the elbows, and we have extending the elbows, flexing the elbows, extending the elbows. Now, opening out, so that my arms, if they are here, just parallel, when I rotate them away from my midline, I'm externally rotating them. When I turn them in, I'm internally rotating. External rotation, inward rotation. External rotation, inward rotation. And the same applies with my legs, well, my hip. I'm externally rotating outwards, and I am internally rotating. I'm externally rotating away from the midline, and I'm internally rotating. So second side, opening, external rotation away from the midline, internal rotation. So we can do this with both our shoulders and hips. These have the most amount of movement, these two joints. The feet. So the feet we have here and here. So when our feet and toes are to the sky, our heels are lengthening away from us, this is our dorsiflexion. So let's say we're in a forward fold, we're binding around the big toes. Dorsiflexion in the ankles. Plant, point. So dancers, we know very much about pointing our feet. Point your feet. Plantar, point, plantar. Think about the P. Point, plantarflexion. So for example, here in your reclined plane, we are plantarflexing. The ankles are plantarflexion. Yeah, so let's just have a little look at that in some poses, and then you can move on and do a task again yourself. So we've looked at very parallel style poses so far on the sagittal plane. So now it starts to get a little bit more complex as we look at things like the triangle, for example. There's lots going on. So we are abducting, we're stepping the leg away from the midline. We are internally rotating the back leg. We are externally rotating the front leg. Now my arms, so I'm just going to get myself into Utthita Trikonasana, so here. So if I reverse all of that, here, so my arms from the starting neutral point have externally rotated. Yeah, they've also lifted here. So they've abducted away from the center line. And I've organized the feet. So this is just to show you, to break it down, the movements. I'm inhaling, exhaling, and then as I reach reach the end pose from this point of view, this perspective. So my arms here have externally rotated, and sometimes that's quite hard to understand when you're just in the pose. So taking a part of the pose and really reverse engineering it is really useful to think, what is my body actually doing? So I'm abducting, I'm stepping away from my midline, I'm turning the leg in, I'm internally rotating, I'm externally rotating my front leg, and this really helps you understand the direction of how you're using your muscles. This external rotation really engages the thigh, the inside thighs, and inhaling the arms, I'm abducting the arms, I'm breathing in, so my palms are down at this stage, so they're in a neutral pose. I exhale, reach forwards, and then as I tilt into my triangle here, I can externally rotate the hands, not the hands, sorry, from the shoulders, yeah? And then I have all of those different movements going on through the joints, which is why yoga is so beautiful, because it really moves all of the body in lots of different ways. So if we were to look at Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana, so for the feet, so if we are here, I am flexing at my hip, dorsiflexion, I am binding, and I am extending through the knee. So my foot here is in dorsiflexion, my ankle, if I point, I'm in plantarflexion, yeah, and closing down. So we will have a look at 3 more poses, exactly as we have done. So now you can consider the movement planes, you can consider, are my shoulders internally, externally rotated, are my hips internally or externally rotated, am I pronating here? Am I retracting my shoulders, and are my ankles in dorsiflexion or plantarflexion? So now you can just add that extra layer into your analysis of the movement and what the body is doing. So again, refer to the sheet below, have a good look at that pose, do it for yourself, like set up the pose and explore. So if this is my starting position, where has my body moved, my joints, where have my joints moved, in order to get me into a version of that pose. Because remember, everybody's pose will look slightly different. That is the beauty of yoga, that it is unique for everybody. So this is why it's really important to understand what the body parts are doing, so that you can help your students and all of their individual needs.